In this problem, we're asked to find the centroid of the grade in section shown there in the figure. This section is basically a rectangle with a quarter circle cut out of the bottom. We're going to use the composite area equations after we recognize what makes up that piece. And my view of this, when I look at it, is that we can think of this as being a rectangle there of height of 2r, and the base is 3r. So that's going to be 1. And 2 is this quarter circle. Like this, it's a whole. So instead of adding it, I'm going to subtract it. And this quarter circle, of course, has a radius of r. And this distance there is also r. Okay, so for 1, A1, that's 3r times 2r. X1, that's equal to 3/2 r. And Y1, that's going to be equal to simply r. Area of the quarter circle, that's 1/4 of pi r squared. The centroid of 2, that's going to be right there. So that distance from the y-axis, from here to here, that is x2. That's going to be the distance there of r plus this amount right there. Well, I know from looking up information here on the centroid of a quarter circle, from the right hand side, that's going to be a distance of 4r over 3 pi. So I need to add on onto r, I need to add on an r minus 4r over 3 pi. So in that case, then the x2 is equal to 2r minus 4r over 3 pi. The y component of the centroid, that's this amount here, that's equal to 4r over 3 pi. So therefore, A, the area, is the area of 1 minus the area of 2. So that's going to be 6r squared minus pi over 4r squared. XC, that's going to be A1 x1 minus A2 x2 divided by A. So that's going to be A1, what did we say that was, 6r squared. X1, that's 3/2 r. Minus A2, A2 was equal to pi over 4r squared times 2 minus 4 over 3 pi times r. And that is divided by a when we said a was equal to 6r squared minus pi over 4 r squared. And I can simplify that just a little bit, I suppose, and write this where the the R squares will cancel out across the board. And so what I end up with is a 9R minus pi over 2, 1 minus 2/3 pi, 2/3 over pi, divided by 6 minus pi over 4, all times R. And YC, that's A1Y1 minus A2Y2 divided by A. So that's equal to 6R squared. Y1, we said was R, minus pi over 4, R squared. And this one is going to be 4R over 3 pi. And that gets divided by 6R squared minus pi over 4 R squared. And simplifying that only slightly here by canceling out the R squares. So this becomes 6 minus 4's will cancel out, the pi's will cancel out, minus 1/3 divided by 6 minus pi over 4 times R. This is the y component of the centroid. This is the x component of the location of the centroid, and the area here is given by A. So it was recognizing that the body, the area we're interested in here, is a rectangular plate with a hole, a quarter circle hole cut out of the bottom. So we broke it down in those two parts, used a composite equation for A, XC, and YC.